This is like my third take of this. Well, anyways, let's get into the actual producer letter, volume 2. I did have an intro planned for both times. First video got corrupted in the actual video processing. Second video, the mic apparently wasn't properly encoded into OBS, so that didn't work. And now we're here with the third attempt. Hopefully it works. Anyways, producer letter volume 2. Let's get started. I'm not feeling so well, so here's a little crappy avatar I just made about 20 minutes ago, and yeah, let's just kind of breeze through this. Both times past were like 30-minute discussions, and I don't feel like doing those this time. So, breaking it down, let's go ahead and just kind of speed run and talk about stuff as much as we can. So starting off, the producer of Vanguard currently is Keita Mori. He's really well known for his work in Shadowverse and basically bringing esports to Japan in general, and as big as they are. And there was everything he's been doing over there, and now he's part of Vanguard's been pretty big. He's made some pretty big changes. He was talking about one of the main things he really enjoyed about this producer letter was the fact that his first one blew up very big globally at that, and he was really surprised about. So we're going to still keep getting these, but the next one will be for a bit, but I'm fine with that. This type of clarity has been something I've been really wanting from Bushiroad in general, and we're finally getting it, and I'm really excited. Now, for anyone who doesn't actually know, he's not just the producer of the Vanguard R&D team, he's the producer of the Vanguard project, the general producer, so he oversees the brand as a whole, where the direction of the anime, the card game, and the marketing, and everything else is going. So he has a very strong hold in this, and Bushy's basically just letting him do what he wants, what he feels like is needed to bring this game going and keep things started. So basically this whole big first part of the thing is just talking about, hey, Zero's been great. Everyone, we're glad you all are here for the physical TCG, and talking about some complaints that people have had with the older products, such as power creep and continuous support being a every month thing, and just money burning, and the fact that power creep basically, since we were on this Ferris wheel of clans, really hurt the game and the player base. And heck, even when V Series first came out, me and my friends all thought we were going to switch to nations because it just seemed like the next logical thing, but unfortunately we didn't. But now we're here with Overdress, and everything's been going pretty darn good so far since then. Now, he also does mention the season 3 of the anime being confirmed, but they have nothing to reveal right now, not until season 2 starts airing, which it's like, that's fine. I'm just sitting here going, cool, we're chilling, everything's great. And yeah, it's just, this is mostly stuff we've already known about, and this is more just clarity, and specifically in English. Now here's the big thing that I've been seeing some people throw around improperly, and I guess now we get our proper clarity on it, and that's the reprinting philosophy of the series, and some other stuff as we get to here in a bit. But the first big thing is that the core staples of Overdress Set 1, such as perfect guards, your triggers, your over triggers, and your boss cards, will not be reprinted for at least a year. And until that reprint era is up, there won't even be any new over triggers or PGs being made. So this set 1 is an actual base set that's going to be very crucial to build upon, which is why they've already announced a second printing coming in about August time for us in English, because the set's already sold out. Like, the set hasn't even been out for like 2 weeks. It's literally been like a week the English set has been out, and like, it's just sold out. Distributors sold out. Plus, even with the delays, it's all sold out. And that's just insane to me. I do think that they probably should have printed way more of this, although it could have been simply also the fact that they were just trying to push out to meet a close enough deadline. We're just trying to push out product. But I do think that they need to be constantly not just making a second wave, but probably even a third wave of printing. And I'm not saying that, and I'm saying that each of these waves need to be like as big, or if not bigger than the previous print, if they really want to make the set a big set to work off of in the future. And I honestly am fine with that as long as they keep the set in stock, and printed. Now, they don't clarify starter decks from what I understand, so that's going to be a bit of a thing. But overall, I think that they'll also at least keep them at least somewhat printed, for a while, and I'm hoping they will, because those star decks are so important to this game's crucial, getting back to the groove and expanding, which it's been expanding, trust me. But going on to his next big topic, which are encounter cards. Personally, I really like these, but the main thing he had to address in here is that while he knew that some people would be like taken aback by the fact that they're introducing old units already. That's why he's put in the whole once, maybe twice a year rule, and why we won't see any until at least past the March of next year. That, he figured that was going to be a case, but he didn't expect the amount of backlash that he got from encounter cards in general, which I personally am fine with them. They're literally just units, but the opposite direction, so I honestly, as far as like their lore reasons go, which the game is far more lore focused in its development anyways, which I'm also fine with. I have no problems with these. I do think they probably should have came in like in set 3 or 4 personally, but they're here, and I think it was just, hey, we're trying to make a cool idea without understanding the player environment of the amount of burnout and nostalgia because of the past 3 years, and the fact that V is still getting support. I do think that was just an oversight that was not a malicious one. I think that was just a bad oversight in general, which this whole first year is going to have growing pains in general because, we have a new producer, presumably a new design team, and, there's going to be growing pains for this first year in all the formats, and I think that's fine. Even though I think that's what led to the creation of the over triggers as they are, is that it's like, oh, here's this game that uses triggers. And with Japanese card games really pushing for these one of uber legendary cards in your decks, that's just kind of trans Japanese card games. Like, well, if triggers are like such a big part of the game, why not make an uber trigger? Which, as a general concept, is cool. I think that the execution was handled poorly and that the game didn't need an uber trigger. And honestly, I think hurts the game more than anything, at least on a competitive level. But it seems like most casual players I talk to seem to really like over triggers, and honestly, casual people are what actually keep a game like alive, not afloat, because your really key crucial competitive players are what keep your game afloat, but what keeps your game alive is your casual player base. And if that's what it takes, that's fine. We're here, over triggers are here, there's no more point complaining or talking about that, I guess. Moving on from that, we do have to talk about V Collection and Revival Collection. So they announced, if you haven't heard, new Revival Collection for Premium. They're reprinting like 6 to 7 cards for each of the clans. You buy a box, you get one of every card, and importing things like Bearlog and Dragonic Overlord, the Turnabout, really good cards. Why have we not gotten Bearlog until this point? If I'm pronouncing it right, should be. I don't know, but this is insane. We're getting all this stuff. They announced that they're reprinting G units, G guards, thank you, please reprint Slay Me Flare, as well as, stand triggers and other things of the sort, whatever they find to be crucial cards that have spiked up in price. They've already announced Gear Groovy. I really hope they do G next stage, even though people say that don't play G next stage in the current deal. I personally play it just because I do like having the combination choices of being able to just get a bunch of Vanguard swings like that. Plus, next stage is just a cool thing to do. So, that's fine. But whenever they decide to reprint, they're already showing that they're doing a really good job there. Clan selection's doing really good overall. And assuming that they keep up the level of design that they have been, I can't complain about that at all. And he's just talking about how, yes, Revival selection is English only, because apparently there's a group of people in Japan, a very, very small, minor group. This does not reflect the Japanese community at all. They're just like, why are you expanding globally? Why would you want to do that? Why are they getting an exclusive product? Even though it's literally just reprints. But, there's always a bunch of people, even in English, we have all the people that were literally just complaining the more was some of the most rude language, and I'm just like, why would you do that? And just please stop. But moving on to that point, we do have the new English, current English. This may change in June and July when we get the proper English product stream, but here's the new current English product release date schedule, which has been which is pretty nice. And I do want to talk about this a bit, and that's the fact that it's every 2 to 3 months is when we're getting a main booster. What I mean by a main booster is boosters that will have a drastic effect on the game as a whole consistently, which are going to be the 5 Great Nation boosters. Lyrical Monasterio might, of course, have an impact on the game, but you're only going to get this like once a year, so that's just how it be. But it's only going to be every 2 to 3 months, right? In every single month that we're getting a set that's supposed to have an actual impact on the game, and I'm super excited for that. And even this months that have multiple products releasing at the same time are not feeding into the same market and the same player base overall as each other, which, thank you, this is a really well constructed thing. But you may see that there's no collaboration sets on here, and that's because Maury said that we'll have to wait till which I can't remember if it's June or July, the new English product release schedule or stream that gives us the proper finalized version of this list. That will tell us when we're getting collabs, if any at all. But licensing takes a lot of money and it takes forever, especially for overseas bureaucracy and stuff. But that being said, I really love this new schedule. Everything is going great so far. Yeah. But this... So everything past this next point I'm about to talk about is just kind of like the most like generic talking stuff, which I'll go over just very briefly. But this part here, VR reprint protection. This is, while I've been able to forgive things like the overtrades are just here to stay and stuff, this is the first major decision that's been made, and I don't know who decided this, that I do not like at all. Now, here's the thing. I do think that you should have a reserved time, basically a period of time before you'd reprint a card. But I think after I think that period for any card game is about a year to year and a half after a card's been released. It should be up for a chance to be reprinted. Not saying that it should be every single, that's the guaranteed shelf life before a reprint, but after a year to a year and a half of a card being released, I think it's up for reprint eligibility. What this is currently saying is that even though we're not getting any new VR since Divine Lightning Radiance, which came out the end of last year, so throughout all of 2021 and all of 2022, even though there aren't going to be any VR cards, VRs will not be reprinted until 2023 at the earliest, which does have some implications that I have a theory on. But this is something that I do not like, because a lot of decks actually do need those VRs, and that's probably, after Revival Collection, going to be the thing that needs reprinted more than anything. They've already reprinted a majority, especially with these new clan selection stuff. They pretty much hit almost all the major expensive cards that are like key pieces that are like pretty much required for the deck strategy. But the VRs are also very important, and with this announcement, this might just lead, especially with all the problems we've been having on the secondary market, a secondary market bubble of VR prices ballooning out of control for the next year and a half to 2 years until they announce VR reprints. They're like, well, now we have confirmation these aren't getting reprinted for that long, and I'm not a fan of that. Like, they're like, not even saying like, oh, these last few VRs are like no VRs at all, even though they've technically already done that with PBO and Alfred in the Star decks, and like Alfred in as like a promo or two. And they've also, reprinted some VRs as collector sets, but, let's ignore that stuff. But I'm not a fan of this. Like, yes, I can understand the last couple of VRs not being reprinted until, like, the end of next year, beginning of 2023, but any VRs at all? Not the end, no Maelstroms. No actual PBO reprint for us in English, which is stupid. Nothing at all. That's just. Why would you do that, Bushy? Why would you do that? But it is what it is now. We are here with it, and that's just the reality of the situation. Even though I don't agree with this, but that's just how it be. And it's talking about the development of the Japanese version. How the game is a Japanese card game, and it's designed for Japan first and globally second. But they're going to be pushing more towards expanding globally, making sure that it actually has better quality control, maybe. I don't know. Just, expanding the brand. That's just how it is. I really want better quality control more than anything, I mean. But overall, the rest of this is just a very basic, English and Japan are two very different countries and like languages and or regions of the world, and it's like, yeah, you don't say. And how Japan gets almost everything. We're for the most part an afterthought, but he's saying that they are working to more closely make English version of the game have as much going on in it as Japan. And he also talks about syncing up the two versions of the game, which could mean getting close to a proper synchronized release date, which right now we're about a 2 to 2.5 month gap behind Japan, but which is actually very interesting. So with this start deck and booster pack 4, that's within we don't know the actual release date, but that means that these will most likely be within about 4 to 6 weeks of each other, which if we get to this point, especially if we're not getting any collabs anytime soon, or if they release collabs within other months, it means that we could actually be pushing towards a proper worldwide release, which we've had for 1 or 2 sets before. But this could actually be us getting a proper worldwide release and keeping that the norm. Even if it's only, well, here's the thing, when I say worldwide release, I should really be saying that the more logical thing is for it to be within the same couple weeks of each other. Because even Buddy Fight, when it came out, was quote unquote a worldwide release. But they were still usually a week or 2 apart, and that's just simply how it be. Well, I don't really have anything else to say on the matter, and with that being said, my dog is wanting to go outside, and I have to go walk her. So I guess just comment down below and let me know what you guys think of all this. And with that being said, I am out. Keep playing the games you want to play, and as always, have fun.